the soundtrack. Sukree, could I call it the soundtrack? You said it's a CD dedication, though?
Yes.
To the victim.
I'll talk a little bit about that. I wanted, I love music. I love music, and part of my therapy as I was healing, I just listened to music, very soothing music. This CD has 6 songs. It's a representation of world music. And when I did hire 3 individuals from Triple R band, A1 Studio in New York did this recording in January. They were practicing for about 6 months. And what the CD, I have cut the CD primarily for a specific purpose. As you can see, it says, this CD dedication is to help victims and survivors of domestic violence. It's a complimentary copy, it's not for sale. When we do these community grassroots events, because we cannot fight this epidemic and we can't stand up to it if we don't do it from the grassroots level. So when we do it, we don't live in, like, we went to New York, right? Indo-Caribbean Alliance is a youth group. They helped us organize this event. They set the tables, they brought food. So what I do, I leave these CDs out, and I put a note that say, please donate to the organization today that helped us. And I'll tell you what, when we walked out of one of the events in New York, they collected over $180.
Wow,
people
very
take
nice.
a CD, they drop $1, they drop $5 or $20 in a bowl. That's what it's used for. It is used to bring awareness, and it's great music. The guys that did this are all local guys. One's from
Very
Trinidad,
nice. We've been enjoying
sang.
it.
2 of them from Guyana. And it was all local guys, and they did a phenomenal job.
Very nice. We've definitely been enjoying the music. Now, back to the questions, because we have 15 minutes left and I need to get so many in. How do you think your actions have been received by your family members and on the larger scale, our community? Because, you know, we definitely don't talk.
Yeah. I think for the family members, for the most part, they are very forgiving. I think they at first, it was shock. But as the years went by, I found that they do care for me and they do support me. You know, my mother wanted me to be married forever, wanted my daughter to be married forever, but I think she realized that that was not something that she would have wanted for her child.
And so you were very... From me reading the book, I also realized you were good at hiding it from them as well.
Right, I didn't tell them, so basically I lied the first part of the marriage because I didn't want anyone to know. And when I had to come out and tell the truth, it was like, is it real or is it not? My abuser at the time could not contradict anything at all because it is all factual. So I think overall my family is now at peace. They want me to be happy, and they've seen that I've grown. They've seen I've taken care of my 2 children, and I continue to. With regards to the community, I think our community, as we've been traveling, it's not as open, and that's why, Gwinnett, we continue, and I've teamed up with you last year. I told you specifically what my goals are. I want to continue to do these talk shows. I want to continue to bring awareness. I want to talk about about alcoholism. Is it a disease? Yes, it is a mental illness. What are the symptoms?
Yes.
What are healthy relationships? We will try to get psychologists, mental health professionals. These are people from the Guyanese community that I've teamed up with.
And remember to give your website. So that people know how to contact you.
My website has a lot of resources. If you go to www.sukreeboodram, SUKREEBOODRAM.com, or if you remember the name of the book, it's called Breakout, and you can also get to it from breakoutbook.com. Or just Google Sukree Boodram anywhere. I mean, it's all over the internet.
Guys, you Google Sukree Boodram. That's how I found her in the first place. You will find her.
And at the bottom right, there is a section called Resources. I have LinkedIn resources on there for Florida. Like for Florida is the Florida Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Everything you need to know if you live in Florida and you're a victim or even an abuser and need help, it's available.
Very nice.
I have LinkedIn New York Family Justice Center. I have LinkedIn the National 1-800 Domestic Violence Hotline. I LinkedIn places that families of alcoholics could go. Places that alcoholics themselves can go.
So you've done the entire spectrum, not just from the... Because you're looking at the entire spectrum, not just, let's say, the victim.
No, I'm looking at it from... my ex-abuser had a mental illness. It's called a disease of alcoholism. By the American Medical Journal, from what I have learned, it is a form of mental illness. It is a disease. And we don't think it's a disease. We think it's a behavioral issue. It is not. An alcoholic tries to stop. Sometimes they can. So a lot of times I don't want to sound like I am being an advocate, but I have to be very fair. One of the things I pride myself on is not being biased, just being fair and not judgmental. And I did not walk this journey all this way to to be degrading anyone or to bash anyone or to make anyone feel as if they're no good. Everybody, when they wake up in the morning, my honest to God belief is, today I want to be the best I can.
Yes,
but you know,
yes.
for some addicts and alcoholics, that lasts for maybe an hour or so. And but you know, like I say, the website has a lot of information, and feel free to go look.
I have another question about victims or survivors. Now, I know that when I try to find you, and that's why I said it's so easy to find you once you Google your name, there were loads of people who had, responded to the article that was featured in Starbuck News. I mean, it was astonishing how many people had reached out. Now, tell us, victims, survivors, have people reached out directly to you, or just they email you? What is that like?
I have had dozens and dozens of victims that are current and past victims. I had people when I went to Manhattan, one lady rode the train, I think 2.5 hours to get to me. However, I'm seeing the same secrecy continuing.
They're coming, but they're still not speaking about it? They're not coming in
a public forum. They are coming, hey, I am Jane Doe, and here, your story sounds just like mine. And I have dozens and dozens of email, and I have an individual that, the 2-year-old, from an abuse relationship, have a 2-year-old daughter. And she was able to exit that relationship on her own with the help from her parents. She went and told her parents. And she always wanted to open a little boutique. And this is in Guyana, actually, in Georgetown. And I can't wait to go see her and just talk to her and give her a hug. But there are dozens and dozens of victims that I am able to talk to on a daily basis that are coming to me behind the scenes. And that's why I want to open these forums for, if you were a victim and you became a survivor, please don't feel afraid to talk.
Yes.
It's especially here in the U.S. There are places that will protect you.
Now, tell us quickly, what makes your story of abuse different from others?
It's funny you ask. My case of abuse is not different.
Oh, okay.
Abuse is abuse. It's not different from yours. Some are worse than others, but the mental anguish that abuse inflicts on a family and on a person, on a victim, and the abuser, it's exactly the same. So I'm not sitting here thinking I have this wonderful story. There are people's stories that are 10 times worse than mine.
Gotcha.
There are people that are mentally ill. I met this one woman, she came and she met me. She is lost part of her hearing from being hit so much.
Wow.
So my story is not different. It's not unique. It is many of our stories, but if one of us does not start talking,
I see.
100 years from today, we will never be able to eradicate this to any extent. It's getting worse, and we are not talking. And we need to stop, and we need to face reality, and we need to start talking.
Now, in the book, I remember being just blown away too by the fact that you put yourself through school, and how did you do that? How were you able to educate yourself while in the relationship?
I learned, do you know what an ostrich is?
Yes.
They stick their head in a hole and pretend things doesn't exist. Okay, I learned that very well, and I learned to run away from problems.
Oh, okay.
So I used to work a regular job. I get out 5, 6 o'clock, and I figured, what can I do for long term to just go away in the evening so I don't have to listen to the abuse?